Okay guys, welcome to this video where I'm going to talk about the differences between male and female leopard geckos, because I know a lot of people ask me about this when they're choosing a gecko. They want to know if there's one gender that's particularly friendlier than another or easier to care for than another, and just generally want to know the differences. So, I think sometimes there's an assumption that if you get a male animal, it's going to be more aggressive possibly. And I think that's because it has testosterone, and certain animals, yes, when they have testosterone, that can make them quite aggressive. So sometimes, like with a dog, they'll tell you to get it done, so that stops that testosterone coming out, and they tend to calm down a bit in their aggression. However, with leopard geckos, that is not a problem. Honestly, if you see Diego, he is the soppiest, sweetest gecko, and generally I don't think testosterone plays much of a part in that sort of way with a gecko-human relationship. But with a gecko-gecko relationship, the testosterone certainly shows. So you'll get, if you put two males together, you'll get aggression, fighting, and people will there will always be people who will tell you, I've had two males together, they're fine. And then a few weeks down the line, oops, this gecko has just torn this other gecko apart. Please don't try to do this, don't put two males together. So the aggression certainly shows there. And if you put a male with a female, he will certainly go crazy, his hormones will take over, and he'll breed with her if she's not interested, and they're kept in a tank all the time. Some people stupidly house male and females together. He'll get really aggressive with her, and I've seen cases where skin has been torn apart. Now, that sort of aggression doesn't just end with males, because females can equally be aggressive and very dominant. That's why not all female-female pairing works. If a female's not interested in a male, she can actually attack him as well. She can attack young geckos, same with males, they can attack young geckos. So she can equally be as aggressive. A few things I did notice when I first got Diego compared to having females is when he was growing, from about 6 months to a year, his back legs used to tense up on my hand, and I didn't know if that was because he was maybe slightly falling. He was quite secure on my hand, but they would almost like tense up as if he's working those muscles, which could come in handy for breeding, possibly. I'm not really sure, but that's something I noticed. And another thing I noticed is sometimes he'll lower his tail and kind of drag it along your hand a bit, and this is him scent marking. So that is something I've also noticed. I've never had a female do that. And I've also heard him squeak a few times. Now, the squeaking situation is quite hilarious in this gecko room, because I've heard a squeak before, and I thought one of the geckos were in pain, and one day I actually caught that squeak, and I realised it came out of Minnie's cloaca. No, I believe that's how it's pronounced. This is a vent where they poop and they also lay eggs. Basically, it was a gecko fart. It had shot out so quickly it made a noise, a squeak noise, so that's kind of gross. However, I have heard Diego squeak many times, and what it is, every time I see him do it, is he's licking his paws. And I have heard that a healthy thing is for the males to, what shall we say, get rid of what's in their paws, lick it and clean it, and it stops the paws getting clogged. So actually it's quite a healthy situation going on. So that is something I have noticed with males. One thing I found that's very different between males and females, and this could be an individual thing, but males never tend to go off their food, in my experience anyway. They will eat and eat and eat and have no problem throughout the year, whereas I find that females are far more affected with the seasons, or if they're ovulating, or just a range of different things. Maybe they're easily stressed out, I'm not sure, but what I can say is Diego has never been off his food, whereas my females all have experienced that. Now, you may have the complete opposite. You may have females that have always eaten and a male that hasn't. So it does vary from gecko to gecko, but this is just what I've noticed. And the only other thing is males are generally bigger than females. They're generally a bit broader. However, obviously if you have a normal male and a giant female, she's obviously going to be bigger. The other thing I will say is I find that males are a bit more aggressive with food. Diego will fully launch himself at food and go crazy for it. But I have also seen my females go quite crazy. So whether that's a male or female thing, I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, what I will say is do not be put off by gender, because I really don't think there's too many differences. Most of them are probably down to the individual rather than their gender. Anyway, I'm sorry if you can hear rain in the background of this video. It's really, really annoying. But anyway, I hope this has helped, and thank you very much for watching.